All right, and I am joined here by Victor. How you doing this evening? We quickly have Dig Shake, JJ Schmidt, and Rose City Saint finding Heart Container Cave. Trails right behind them. Picking up a quick life level. And it is the cross. If you're going to find it, it's good to find it early. So Trails comes across Medicine Container Cave. Or rather just Medicine Cave, no real container involved. I guess the bottle if you want to get technical. But that's too much effort. We do have Victor here. He is seeming to have some technical difficulties. We'll get him up here as quickly as we're able. The Dig Shake is in Medicine Container Cave, which has Magic Container Cave, which has a magic container. Yes, nopes on out of the Medicine Container Cave. And Medicine Cave also has a magic container. Dig Shake coming across a fairly annoying fight. Those Moas were luckily cooperative and didn't bop him too much. Can always become a real pain. Rose City Saint and JJ Schmidt pretty much right by each other. Digital high five there. Trails picking up a fairy, which there's no shame in the randomizer. Trails is continuing to explore the overworld. comes across Jump Cave's west side and looks like Parappa's west side. And RCS right behind him, and Trails takes a death. As does RCS. Rose City Saint finding Bagoo may or may not come into play.
Hey, good night, everyone. How's it going, Mr. Duster W?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. After a series of mistakes on my side and some life being mean to me, we are live finally. So, how has the seed treated these guys?
Nothing too special just yet. A couple magic containers and a cross. Nothing to really write home about.
So, from the new sprites, what's your favorite, Mr. Duster W?
Oh, hands down, it would be Vase Lady. But of what we've got going tonight, Dig Shake using the Stalfos would be a close second, I suppose.
Yeah, it looks great, but yeah, Base Lady is the most funny one. I love how she uses the vase to attack everyone.
Yes, that was absolutely a stroke of genius in the design there.
Yeah, also the Bagoo sprite is very interesting. I played a lot with that one, the Error Bagoo sprite.
Yeah, I gotta say, I was playing a Bagoo sprite with a pink tunic while listening to the Village People Macho Man. It was a life-altering experience, I gotta say.
Totally, I can't imagine that. So far the only interesting item we have gotten is the cross, right?
As of now, yes. And as I was mentioning, if you're gonna find it, it's at least good to find it early.
For example, JJ Schmidt is going to get the mirror for the lady, but, well, one thing he doesn't know is that the lady doesn't need the mirror anymore, because in this seed, spell items are disabled, so mirror counts as one of those spell items. But, well, we are getting used to the new updates, so no one can blame him. So, fire is the spell in Saria. Do we know what that spell is linked with?
We have not seen yet.
Okay, now I'm doubtful about what I said earlier, because Dig Shake is also getting the mirror, so I don't know if spell items are really required. I checked and they weren't, but who knows?
Well, as you said, we're all still adjusting to the new flags, and Dig Shake has played so much, he may just be built in his routine.
That could be a possibility.
Well, so far, the seed not giving a whole lot of anything. Overworld's a little bit of a mess, and Oh, looks like we might be in for a fun one tonight.
So yeah, we've got new community hints. So that about Angry Larry is very good. And well, as you may know already, in the towns you can find helpful hints from the people. So the stationary people are the ones that can give you hints, and you can only get one hint per town. So we're gonna see if the townspeople of Mido or Saria tell us anything. So far I haven't seen any hints.
Well, with spell items being disabled, I don't think hints are too big of an issue just yet. But yeah, it certainly wouldn't hurt to get them because we don't know where the glove is, we don't know where the hammer is, we don't know where the flute is. The flute is definitely required. We have the three-eyed rock enabled, and we also have new Kasuto being hidden enabled, so hammer may come into play as well.
That is correct. And Mido's spell, if JJ Smith isn't the first one to get it, is the shield spell. I don't know if he was the first to get it, but
if anyone else picked it up, I did miss it, but to be fair, I have missed just a little bit as I've been dealing with some technical issues on my own end here.
okay, so the raft is in the grass tile, and Dikshe gets it. So judging from the tracker, he's the first one to explore the grass tile. Okay, so the lady in the graveyard tile tells us that you can find the cross in the west, and that is correct because all the players have the cross.
It was in the first cave they came across, which was Heart Container Cave, pretty much right by start. Got Rose City Sane about to go looking for some hints right now, but get his shield spell momentarily.
Yeah, now Dick Check is gonna get the spell in the town of Rauru. Which is Thunder. Very big spell to get at the beginning of the game.
Absolutely. A little bit used to the max rando where Thunderbird's not always required, but it is set tonight for him to be required, so definitely want to get that. And Palace City there. We have 2 on the east and looked like 5 was on the west. I did not see the pillars on the west side there.
Now we've got at least 1 boulder, so more roll for the hammer there.
Okay, looks like that was actually 1. So for those unfamiliar with this, you can identify which palace is which based on the headpiece of the pillars in the intro and the Iron Knuckle statue. 1 and 4 will have the same basic pillars. 2 and 5 have the same. However, the Iron Knuckle statue will drop a red jar for 2 and will not drop anything for 5. 3 and 6, it gets a little tricky because they've both got the same pillars, obviously, but both statues do a 50% chance of an Iron Knuckle or 50% chance of a red jar, so you have to actually dive into the palace to figure out which is which.
Okay, so Dikshe got the fairy spell out of Rudo, which can allow him to explore palaces now, and if Palace 1 is on the area, that could be a very good option. Let's see what he does.
Looks like JJ Schmidt may be beelining to the raft spot to get to east. And indeed he is.
Yeah, good thing about this is that you can get some potential 500 experience backs, that like the one he just got. But well, in this case, this is a very claustrophobic east, which you require the boots to explore, so he's heading back to the west.
So that means we're going to be looking for the boots. We still have not found Trophy Cave or Peabag Cave. We know at least one of them is hammer blocked. There's always the chance they could have to dive into Death Mountain as well. And there's Palaces 1, 2, and the Great Palace on west. So quite a few options left, but we will need the boots to progress. Dyra Moblin Complo giving JJ Schmidt a little bit of the what for, but he comes through only to take a rock to the head and die.
Yeah, those rocks that come out from the edge of the screen are the worst enemy of all.
I don't know, I think I hate bots even more. It's a little bit more RNG involved with them.
That is correct. So JJ heading into Rudo to get his fairy spell. And Dick Shake just got back from, I believe, his bathroom break. And unpauses the game and keeps going.
JJ and RCS in Rudo gonna get Thunder Spell. And Bagu's twin knows nothing, so we will not see a hint from there.
So that medicine cave is giving everyone a headache. Some enemies there and in the dark make that cave very troublesome. I've seen some deaths and game overs in there. But hopefully Trails is gonna get the item, which I believe is nothing important. It is a magic container though. Could be useful.
Okay, so we do have a quick question in chat. So items required, almost always going to be glove required, even if you don't need it in any of the palaces. I'm going to say a 99.999% chance you'll need it in the Great Palace. Maybe not quite that high. There's always a chance it's a really short one, but it's pretty much considered required. Most of the time you also need the Thunder Spell, the Reflect Spell, and Fairy is, again, not always required, but always helpful. But once you get those, you're generally considered in go mode. However, with our latest update to the randomizer, you can also require the hammer, the flute, and in some seeds, such as this one, you may even need the boots.
That is correct. Well, in this set, with this flag set, the items that are 100% guaranteed to be required are the flute and the thunder and reflect spell. However, those spells are kind of free, unless one of those is hidden behind the hidden town, the grass tile. So we've got JJ Smith facing Horsehead, and also Dick Shake in Palace 1.
So JJ Schmidt will be the first to place a gem, unless he decides to not for any reason. But he's going for it. First gem placed at just about 20 minutes even. Unfortunately, there is no prize for first gem placed. It's all about when you kill Dark Link.
Yeah, and Max Rando Tournament has taught us that, well, Great Palace is always a great equalizer, so yeah, Dark Link really is the thing you have to look for the most when you race.
And RCS just showed off the random drops feature. Got a key from that Daira.
Yeah, as players haven't found the magic key, finding keys in the drops is very useful because, well, I don't know, Fairy Spell is quite expensive for Dick Check and JJ Smith because, well, JJ Smith cost of the Fairy Spell is 79, so that means that he'll at least use 5 and a little bit of his magic containers each time he uses Fairy, so very expensive so far. So finding keys is a very good option. That's why the players explore the rooms that are dead ends to the left in Palace 1.
And I did not check, are extra keys in Palaces enabled on this set?
It was disabled.
Yeah, that just makes them all the more important then.
Yeah, when you need experience, you always get the keys, and when you need keys, you always get the payback. So yeah, Morpheus law is a fundamental law of Zelda 2 Randomizer. So Dick Check finding the item in Palace 1. Let's see what awaits for him. It is a payback.
Definitely not what he wanted to see. So he's going to dive back in and go after Horsehead. What do you think? Is he going to dive into 2 after that and risk being glove blocked?
Well, he hasn't seen the East, so we don't know. In the case of JJ Smith, I believe he will explore the other palaces. But in the case of Dick Check, I don't know if he explored the East. I think he hasn't. So the most probable thing is that he will check that out, the East.
JJ actually going back to grab the P-Bag. Definitely a good idea with how close he is to a level now.
Trail sending out the boot block of the East and going back to the West.
RCS stuck in a sticky situation with the little mace throwers on the stairs before the crumbling bridge. Makes it a real pain to get past there.
Yeah, earlier Dick Check showed us a very good way of doing so. And well, Rosie Design also does it a little bit more accidentally, but he does get through and goes for Horsehead.
Yeah, when those situations come up for me, I have usually one of 3 options I'll take. I'll either ferry over, hopefully I can cast Thunder, or I up A and cry like a baby.
Yeah, I think my options are 3, 3, and 3. Okay, so Dick Check got back into Palace 1. He already has gotten the item, and I believe he's beaten the boss. So I bet he's going in for keys. Or, oh, sorry, I'm confusing the palaces. I don't know what's... Oh, yeah, this is Palace 2, I'm sorry. So yeah, getting a little skeleton drop, that means a 1-up for the Dig Shake.
So yeah, those pallets are just so similar, and even the bricks. You know, we've got the thatch design and what I've always called the pill design because it looks like little vertical pills to me. But very similar pallets, very similar design. It's very confusing.
Yeah, and so we've got Dig Shake and JJ Smith in Palace 2. Meanwhile, Trails and Rose City Saint are still digging Palace 1. So do you think this Palace 2 is blocked for the item or the boss? Well, now we've seen that it is not blocked for the item because Dig Shake is about to get it.
I don't know if the item's not. I generally count on the boss being that. And we see the Dripper enemy is a Magu this time. However, it's only worth 150 experience points. Kind of a letdown.
Yeah. Let's see if... Oh, it's the boots, okay.
And Trail's going with my second solution of Thunder.
I believe I will have used Fairy, but I don't know. That situation is depends on what you have at the moment. In this case, the players have several solutions at hand. However, it is amazing that Rose City Saint and Dig Shake chose to do it the bare-handed way. And we see JJ Schmidt grinding for those 150 experienced magos. He's close to a level, so well, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, not ideal, but while you're there, might as well take advantage of it. But I was going to say, you know, Dig Shake and Rose City Saint, two of our top players, absolutely. You know, Dig Shake's arguably the best in the world, and Rose City Saint, pretty close to Unos, tied for second. And another painful mace thrower in Palace 2 there, and RCS decides to thunder that one out.
And JJ Schmidt exploring the east, he finds Palace 4, and well, he just got out of there as soon as he got the boots. Dig Shake is digging for the boss of Palace 2. Let's see if he's lucky and the boss is not glove required.
Chat pointing out, yes, you do indeed hear a baby. She is 23 days old at this point. And JJ Schmidt showing off my absolute favorite use for the boots, river walking to avoid big chunks of swamp.
So JJ Schmidt finding the town of Naboru. Naboru, I believe, is the correct pronunciation in Japanese. So he's gonna get the water for the lady. However, I insist that you don't have to. But I'm starting to have my doubts about it. So let's see what spell he gets. And it is jump. So not ideal, but it could be useful for getting some experience in the East. And well, Great Palace always welcomes the jump spell.
At Great Palace, those waffle rooms without jumps can often be absolute nightmares, again resulting in either thunder or crying like a baby.
Okay, JJ Schmidt finding a Piba cave in the east.
Chat asking what the baby's PB is. She actually got a 48-minute on the Alan Heffley seed.
So we see our first player digging out Death Mountain, and it is trails. Let's see if he gets lucky and finds something there. So far, nothing bad. Who knows?
So I thought Trails did have the boots. I'm not seeing it on the tracker. Did he not get them?
I believe he hasn't entered Palace 2, but I could be wrong.
He could be gambling on it being glove blocked, and it could come to cost him. JJ Schmidt finds 3-Eye Rock.
And Dick Check finds the boss of Palace 4.
And that Paladin Palace 4 really has me craving a key lime pie right now.
Well, I'm not a lover of beer, but I was thinking about beer, so yeah. So let's see what Maze Island has in its hands for the players.
So speaking of beer,
wow, cheers.
and chat pointing out that fire is linked with reflect. I completely missed that. Trail's still trying to dig out Death Mountain, losing time. Hopefully it's worth it for him.
Yeah, who knows? It could be the glove, it could be the flute. It could be both. However, he doesn't have the hammer. It could be the hammer. there are still a lot of things at play at this moment.
It looked like J.J. Schmidt was going to take on that blue Lizalfos. My only thought of that is very unworth. Doesn't matter how much he's worth, just not worth the effort.
Yeah, I can't understand how players like Unos and Dikshay kill those guys with such ease. I just avoid them. I run for my life as soon as I see one.
I think my best fighting capability is because I spent about 4 hours save state practicing against Guma.
Okay, so as you saw, if you saw, Rose City Saint didn't talk to didn't get the water for the water lady. She just talked directly to the lady and she let him in. So we can confirm that having the no spell items flag turned on also turns off the requirement of water and the mirror in the towns of Naboru and Saria.
Shake trying to get a hint from that ache, which is not a keys as most people seem to believe.
So Trails finds the glove at Dead Mountain. How lucky is that, man? Let's see if he takes this chance and maybe wins the race, who knows?
It's certainly possible. He has proven himself to be quite a skilled player, even though he's one of the newest to the community.
So now Trails can do Palace 2, which I believe is the only option he has left because he still doesn't have the boots, so...
J.J. Schmidt diving into 5. I don't know, I don't think I'd go in quite yet, but you know, it's right about there.
Yeah, 5. That will be my last choice to explore.
I guess it's a toss-up for me, my least favorite being 5 or 4. And I realize 4 is a bit of a controversial choice, but I don't know, 4 and I just have history. We'll just leave it at that.
I'd say when 4 wants to be messy, it really messes you up. Especially it messes your mind up because you start to forget all the probabilities you have with the drops and sometimes, yeah, it is not so straightforward. But I believe most of the times it is a friendly palace. But yeah, I don't know, it's controversial, as you said. So I believe the players are doing 5 because, well, they don't have the glove and the other options don't look so good. The thing is that there was Palace 4 and J.J. Schmidt could be doing it. However, I don't know if he has realized that fire is linked to reflect, so that could be a thing.
Ooh, and catching himself with the fairy spell. I don't have the reflexes for that. If I get hit over a pit, that's it. I'm done.
So, Palace 5 is in Maze Island, I believe? I don't know. I haven't seen.
I was under the impression 4 was on Maze Island, but that just may be because I'm used to vanilla location. And we're about to see the item in 5. And a heart container. Not exactly what they're looking for, but I'd take it.
Yeah, and one of the items in Maze Island was also a heart container, so yeah, this sieve is telling the guys that it's gonna be a long sieve.
Trails picks up the boots. RCS coming up on Darunia, hidden fairly well, I believe. I didn't see another way up except for walking along the river there, or the ocean.
So he's using all his magic, so when he gets across the second screen of the town, he can use the fairy spell and still get a refill after using it. So that saves a little bit of time, what Rosie is saying does there. Some of the players choose to do the super jump technique, which I believe is 1 frame. It only allows you to fail for 1 frame, so you don't see that very often, but some of the players do.
Yeah, I'm one of them that actually prefers the super jump. If you can make it within 7 times, it saves you time from doing jump normally. If fairy's available, I'll just do that just to be sure, but with jump, I'll usually do the super jump instead of going around. And Trail's finding the fake boss room in 2, validating the run. It's not valid if you don't find that room.
So did anybody see what the spell of the Darunia was? And I just saw it was Reflect, which is kind of useless at this moment because it is linked with fire. But what Rose City Saint has Abstab and Fairy, so he can rest easy now because he loves being armed with that spell and that technique.
Yeah, there definitely seems to be a split in the community on whether Upstab is worth it. But, you know, the way I see it is it only takes a moment to grab, and it has the chance of saving you several minutes if you got to go grab it when you're in the Great Palace because you're in the Upstab room and can't get through it. So I'll pretty much always grab it whenever I can.
Yeah, especially in these long sits, you don't see snipes very often. You don't see, well, sometimes it happens, but most of the times the players differ in times for more than a minute or something. So I believe it is worth it. In Max Rando, the story is very different, and we've seen some races being decided by those factors.
JJ Schmidt hitting a dead end and up-Aing, starting 5 over again.
Yeah, so Palace 2 and Palace 5 are proving to be quite the task for these players. They are, I believe they are making 100% exploration of those two palaces. But well, finally Trails finds Helmet Head.
I've been not lately, but in the past I pushed Dig Shake to try to do a shorten 5 flag, kind of similar to the shorten GP flag, only instead of removing a specific type of room, I was hoping it would take out like half the elevators and just shorten it that way. Well, then I wouldn't mind 5 so much.
Yeah, 5 is very big, and yeah, that could be a thing, I believe. So, Rose City Saint got the spell at Old Kazuto and gets the candle at the water tile. So far the seeing new Kazuto doesn't seem like a thing so far, unless it is hiding the flute or something like that. But yeah, the players at this moment, besides looking for the glove that we know it is in Dead Mountain, they're looking for the flute, so let's see where that lies.
And they all know that there are hammer-blocked caves, so they're keeping in mind that they need the hammer as well.
Yeah, we got a simultaneous fight with Guma. And both players had died once. Dikchek defeated Guma in his second try. Now let's see how JJ fares in round 2.
So what's the lowest attack level you'll go against Guma with if you have any choice?
I believe 4. However, I feel I've been pretty lucky in that sense. I haven't had the need to beat him lower than that. But well, I feel comfortable with 5. But yeah, what about you?
Yeah, 4's my minimum. I know I can do it. I've had to do it at 3 a few times, and it's been an absolute slog and just not fun for me. But, if I have to do it, I guess I will. But yeah, 4 is the minimum if I have a choice in the matter.
So, this moment we've got Dikchek and JJ Schmidt with Dikchek with 3 bosses defeated, JJ Schmidt with 2 gems placed, and Trails with 2 gems placed. Finally, Rose City Saint has only 1 gem placed.
And with the glove being in Death Mountain, it's still anybody's game. I would have to give a slight edge to Trails at this point just because he's gone through there. But yeah, I could still go anyway.
Yeah, I agree. However, he still isn't in go mode because he needs at least the flute. So he still needs to look for items. And well, that could take him some time. of exploration that the other players have already done. For example, JJ Schmidt is getting into Darunia to get his Isla spell, and yeah, Big Shake is finding the River Devil, which I believe this time is kind of doing his job. I don't know if he's required, but at least he's blocking a road.
Yeah, far too many seeds that he's just blocking a dead end, or you can just walk right around him. It's good to see a seed with him in a good position. And again, we do have 3-Eye Rock enabled, so Flute is required one way or the other.
So, where do you think the Flute could be? What is your worst case scenario for today?
So I don't believe we've seen 3 or 6. We know one of them is behind 3-Eye Rock. So I think worst case scenario is Flute is going to be in 6, probably glove blocked, and 3 will be in 3-Eyed Rock.
Okay, let's see how badly the Seed treats these players. Okay, Rose City Saint has the hammer. We didn't know. So he enters the town of New Kasuto. We found a glitch yesterday. The lady that lets you in this house where Rose City Saint just got a jar, I use this jar, usually asks you for 5 to 7 containers, but when you play with the spell items not required flag on, she just lets you in whatever the number of magic containers you have, because, well, yesterday we all entered with 4 magic containers. So let's see what spell he gets from the old guy in New Kasuto.
You know, I was actually wondering if that was the case, and he hit it a bit too fast. It looks like it was life, and he has a full spell list. I have missed a lot of what he's gotten. Looks like he's on his way to arouse the earth with the spell. And gets the 8th magic container.
So will his next would be Dead Mountain?
I believe that would be his next move.
Okay, there's a hammer block cave there at the west. So yeah, that is his first priority. It is Trophy Cave. And there's the Flute. Wow.
So I believe that means every item is required for this seed. Because you need the hammer to get the flute, need the boots to get anywhere on east, obviously need the glove. And the flute, of course, needed to enter 3-Eyed Rock.
So if you were Rose City Saint, what would be your next move?
Oh, absolutely Death Mountain. Even not knowing that that's where the glove is, I probably would have gone there kind of a while ago.
Okay, so Piva Cave was also blocked, I believe. So
Right.
let's see what he finds there. He's still looking for the glove, because we know the glove is at that mountain. And it is a magic key which could be helpful to let you finish the palaces faster.
Especially since he has only done Palace 1 so far.
So I don't get why Trails is doing Palace 5, but well, we have this bias against Palace 5, but well, he has the glove. I will be trying to solve the other palaces first to get more experience and beat this one faster. And well, him having the glove, I believe it's better to dig shorter palaces first, to discard the flute first and then leave Palace 5 as the last option. But well, let's see who is right. Meanwhile, Rose City Saint is making the right choice, exploring that mountain, and Big Shake is right behind him. So I believe the lead that Trails has gotten is getting shorter and shorter every minute.
Agreed. And I'm thinking Trails' logic is, since 5 is on Maze Island, I was incorrect, you were right. Since it's just kind of so far out of the way, just get it done, get it out of the way, and not have to come back there again.
Yeah, I never think about that, so yeah, that's why I always lose races, because I can have many things in my mind at the same time in consideration. So yeah, that is a factor, and yeah, I believe that's why he's doing it.
Now, if I could just apply that logic when I'm playing, I might be able to sub 2 hour more seeds. Yeah, at this point, I definitely say the advantage has shifted to Dig Shake, just because he has that exploration, as you mentioned earlier. And, you know, he's about to get the glove. I believe he's only a couple caves away if he plays his cards right. And he has 3 palaces, which is more than anyone else.
So Rose City Saint finds a hard container in the Spectacle Rock. So now we know that that isn't a thing for this game. So let's see if he finds Hammer Cave soon. So how do you do in that mountain? How much knowledge do you have about the caves? Or do you play it by ear every time? Or what is your approach to that mountain?
So I've actually kind of been practicing it a bit lately. It was always just play it by ear, take caves at random, and hope for the best. But I've finally started recognizing some of the subtle differences in some of the caves. So I kind of had a little bit more of an educated guess when I do have to guess. But actually, I've been kind of lucky lately in that Hammer Cave has been quickly accessible. And speaking of which, Rose City Saint finds it for himself. He'll be getting his glove real shortly.
So yeah, I think Palace 5 being in Maze Island is a very unfortunate location for Trails. Because, well, yeah, if he did the other palaces first, he will have gotten the lead. But, well, yeah, He's taking the long time that all the other players took exploring Palace 5, which is not friendly at all in this seed. Meanwhile, JJ Schmidt doing Palace 4. And Dick Shake finding his glove. He's in the glove room. And finally, Trails finds Guma. His third boss of the day. So he isn't that behind the schedule in this moment.
Yeah, Dig Shake and RCS are both in full go mode, but Dig Shake does have the advantage of having done 4 and 5 that RCS is going to have to make up. Trails knocks Guma down, moves on, places his third gem.
So, Duster, do you know the story behind Go mode being named full Dick Shake mode in Zelda 2 Randomizer?
So I don't know what exactly triggered it. I just assume since he's the creator, they just rolled with it, but I don't know if there was a specific event that triggered it, as often being named or having things named after you is because of a specific event.
Yeah, me neither. Also, I don't know, the other day Link7777 was commentating a race with, I believe, Q-Lane, and Q-Lane asked him if he knew what the L7 room meant, and I think Q-Lane implied that that room meant that it was in honor to Link777, but I still don't know the story behind the L7 room in Great Palace.
And I'm still relatively new to the community. I got in it a few months before you and Trails found your way in, so I'm not too familiar with a lot of the terminology, but I've picked up a lot of it.
Cool, so day by day we're gonna be finding out what those words and names mean. So Rose City saying completing Palace 2, I believe.
You are correct, and Dig Shake right behind him.
Yeah, and well, Palace 4 is giving a headache to JJ Schmidt. He has spent quite a bit of time there, so yeah, he's with you today, hating Palace 4.
I don't know, I think the thing I hate most about 4 is the headache the palette gave me the moment they entered. It is very loud.
One of the things you say is that if you get the elevator that leads you to a right or a left, always take the left Palace 4 if that's the first room you find. And sometimes it has worked for me. But yeah, you have to have some good sense of smell to see when that is true.
I don't know, more often than not, it just seems to be the first dead end you find. You know, you go down the elevator into that room you were mentioning, and it's just dead end to the right. I'd say probably 85-90% of the time in my experience.
So JJ Schmidt getting Dick Chook in Palace 4 and getting out of there as soon as he can.
He's definitely got to be panicking about that glove at this point.
Yeah, JJ Schmidt's still exploring the east, so let's see what his next move will be. He's still missing on the glove and the flute.
Dick shaking either 3 or 6. I've been trying to watch and haven't found a unique room to either just yet. And still haven't. But based on the enemy set, I'd be thinking 6.
So that's 3, I believe, right? 3 is the one that has the blocks falling? Yeah, that's 3.
Yeah, that is definitely 3. JJ Schmidt making his way through Death Valley. Takes a bath. And 2 tries at the fairy feet, but he gets it. And he comes across 6. Very minty, winter fresh green.
So yeah, Dick Chick only having to find 1 palace and beat it before getting into Great Palace, so he clearly has the lead at this point.
Yeah, but 6 could be could make quite a difference if RCS happens to make some good choices and Big Shake makes some bad ones. But we'll see what happens. And there's always still Great Palace to contend with. Big Shake with an impressive fairy feet record there. Me, I'm more at I don't know, maybe 1 in 8.
Yeah, still haven't gotten the hang of it. I usually just get across those rooms with fairy. But yeah, I haven't practiced either. Sometimes I get it, but it tends to be more of a waste of time to try for me.
Trails just brute forcing his way through, and then fairies. Big Shake currently in probably my least favorite room of the entire game.
That is the BGT room, right?
I believe you are correct.
And the same room in 3, I believe. It's the Yoshi D of VGT room. So yeah, that's the language of Zelda 2 Randomizer community.
I believe the Joshi D of BGT rooms is actually the one with the bricks on the floor that has the key in the P bag, because he was doing an all keys run and managed to run right past that one during a race.
Oh, okay. So I got that wrong. So finally, JJ Schmidt giving a try to that mountain.
And Dig Shake quickly makes his way to Barba. So he's going to take a pretty significant lead, seeing as RCS still has to go through 5. Quickly takes him down too. But 2 cycles the key, so 10-second penalty.
Meanwhile, Trails getting into the item room of Palace 6 because he still hasn't found the flute. So he's hoping for the flute to be there, but we all know it is not.
I think it either has to be a P bag or our final heart container.
And it is a P-bag. Meanwhile, JJ Schmidt in Hammer Cave, about to get his glove and palm face.
I don't know, seems to me JJ found Hammer Cave pretty quick while everyone else spent quite a bit of time in there.
Yeah, I believe that was the fastest Dead Mountain so far in this game. So Dig Shake gets into
GT at a 1:11 in about 40 seconds, I believe. Trails quickly finding Barba as well, so at least 6 will be quick. And a quick Thunderbird.
That means that behind this Thunderbird lies the rest of the palace, which can be very, very, very big. So, and it is a short version of the Great Palace, but it's still really a big palace. So, having an early Thunderbird is not good news.
It's certainly never helpful to find him before your first junction, because then you know that any way could be the right way. That RCS trying to get through 5 as quick as he can. Dig Shake takes down Thunderbird. Chat asking if all 4 are in go mode. Currently only Rose City Saint and Dig Shake are full Dig Shake, as the cool kids say. Trails still needs the flute since it's a required item. And JJ has not... Yeah, he found the glove just now. So he just needs the flute and then...
And he's gonna find the flute because he just got the hammer desert tile in the east. So he's gonna find the flute here.
So a lot of green palaces today.
Yeah, that's the color of today's seed. So this great palace is having some interesting sets of enemies, and Dikshay gets killed in one of the front rooms and only has one life. So yeah, Great Palace is the great equalizer in max random, but at this moment, if Rose City Sane or one of the other players does do the palaces quick, they still can get a chance if Dikshay game's over and has to start over again the Great Palace. So let's see what happens. So to answer Zimi Stardust 14, the randomizer for Zelda 2 was designed by a guy named Dikshay, which is the player you see on your top right, the one that is playing with the skeleton sprite, the Stalfo sprite. So that is the creator of the randomizer, and as you can see, the randomizer is very, very well done. All the palaces rooms are shuffled, all the overworld tiles are shuffled, all the items and the enemies are shuffled. And we've got new features this last week, which include the hidden palace and the hidden town, as you can do on as you have them on the vanilla game.
There's also a handful of new sprites on both Rose City Saint and Trails, going with Classic Link. Big Shake, as was mentioned, with the Stalfos. And we have a Dark Nut sprite that JJ Schmidt's using. Interesting little flesh tone there. You can also select your tunic color. And that is correct. Big Shake has been talking about how he's going to still be adding stuff, and I'm very eager to see it.
Yeah, he's been in the zone for like a month, pulling all these custom updates. So yeah, congrats to him, because well, we are enjoying these updates very, very much. And well, he gets his prize. He finds Dark Link. Over, he finds the Dark Stalfo, I mean.
Alright, so GG to Dig Shake, taking first place with a time of 1 hour, 18 minutes, and 42 seconds.
So I haven't seen the ending scene with the Stalfo. So far it's looking great, that side of him, from the front and from the back. It's very well done sprite. Let's see how the scene where he hugs Zelda goes.
Is that a sword in his pocket, or is he just happy to see her?
And there goes the bony hug from Zelda. So yeah, GG to Dikshay for winning this race. Let's see how the other runners fare with this.
Hey.
Hey, Mr. Dikshay, GG and congratulations on finishing this race on the first place.
Thanks, yeah. I'm a little surprised. I got distracted there at the beginning, so a little bit of a slow start. But I guess I did well in the second half. So
Yeah, and well, Trails was the first one to get the glove. He was the first one to explore that mountain. However, he found he chose to dig Palace 5 early, so that took him a long time. And well, yeah, the good thing is that you did very efficiently the palaces you were finding, so that was very good. What do you think about the location of items in this seed?
well, I guess I was getting a little frustrated because I cleared a bunch of stuff in the east continent, and there was just a whole bunch of garbage, basically. And then found the hammer. That was nice. Got me the horn, which I needed. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it was all right. The item locations weren't terrible. Getting all of the spells that you needed early on was very useful as well. So
Yeah, it did seem to be a pretty straightforward seed. Only thing that really stood out was Glove and Death Mountain to me.
yeah, I mean, I didn't find the hammer very quickly because I went sort of around the desert tile, but I could see other people finding that hammer a lot faster than me and getting the horn a lot earlier than me.
The only one that did so was Rose City Saint. Because, well, this seed was kind of unfortunate for a player that chooses to explore the overworld first and then the palaces. And well, he did that. He found the flute, but he still didn't have the glove at that moment. So it took him quite a bit. So yeah, but yeah, very straightforward seed. Well, the hammer being required is the new thing as well as the flute. So yeah, cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was required because of the cave, though. It wasn't required. I never stepped foot into New Kasuto, so. Yeah, when you get fairy that early, you know, it's very tempting for me, at least, to just start knocking out palaces, especially when you get 1 and 2 right out of the gate like that. Although fairy was very expensive, that was maybe the other major hurdle of this seed, was how expensive the fairy spell costs.
Yeah, it was a bit ridiculous, but I was going to mention that, you know, actually RCS was only like 20 seconds ahead of you on finding the glove. The big advantage was that you had already cleared out a couple palaces that he hadn't, so I think that's what made the difference there.
I actually got lucky going into 4 early because the lack of keys and the expensive fairy costs forced me to, I think, find Karak a lot sooner than I would have if I'd had the magic key or something. So,
yeah, we saw JJ Schmidt take quite a while finishing Palace 4. So yeah, you made it. You made Palace 4 look easy, but yeah, I think it was about not having fairy being expensive, and that led you in the right direction.
I full cleared 5 though. I mean, if 5's bad for everybody else, it's also been bad for me. I think I saw every single room.
Yeah, everybody took like 10 minutes finishing Palace 5. It was brutal.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much for hopping in on commentary this week, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Dick Chick, and congratulations. And sorry for making you wait at the start of the race. I made some mistakes, some technical mistakes. But well, you'll forgive me soon.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Have a good night, guys.
Good night, Dick Chick.
And ladies and gentlemen, that was Digshake, the creator. If the top right of your screen wasn't, you know, enough of an indication. JJ Schmidt going for some jackhammer strats on Barb, and then going to normal jump strats. So what are your thoughts on jackhammering Barba? I've only ever successfully pulled it off once, which oddly was the first time I tried it. Every time since then, I always wind up in the lava.
I believe I used to try more often when I started playing this randomizer, but lately I've been kind of playing it safe because, well, I don't know. I don't know why. I should start trying to risk it, at least if I have more than one life when I arrive to Barba.
Yeah, it's very true. You'll never learn to do it if you don't ever give it a shot, so I might take that same logic. It's like man-moding Dark Link. I've been trying to learn how to do that if I have spare lives when I get to them.
Yeah, I find that in vanilla to be kind of easier, but in random it has been pretty impossible for me to do the darkling fight without using the trick of hiding in the corner. So yeah, but yeah, I haven't practiced either. I haven't tried a lot, but I still don't know the logic about that fight. What do you have to do to hit him? So yeah.
Most commonly, I hear you just handle it like an iron knuckle and just jump and move forward in as you're going, but I don't know, it's just so different that it's not at all like that.
So I think we've got a very close race for second place here between Rose City Sane and JJ Schmidt. Well, JJ Schmidt just game over, but Rose City Sane took a death. So let's see who finds Darkling first.
And a quick update off stream. Yunos has finished in second place with a time of 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 55 seconds. And Zarnax just took third place, 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 32 seconds.
Oh, that was close. Very good players, top players who just finished the seed. So congratulations on those guys for doing this seed in those times. Meanwhile, JJ Schmidt fighting Thunderbird. With jump, do you do the Thunderbird dance with jump or without jump?
Without. I have never bothered to learn it with jump, and just, I don't know, I can pretty consistently get 7 hits per cycle without, so I've just never seen a reason to bother with it.
Yeah, I think with jump is riskier. If you have good levels, you can probably do this thing when you swirl around quickly and hit him more than once per jump. But, well, yeah, I used to do the Thunderbird thing with jump because that's the way I did it in vanilla. But I started to have very bad fights with Thunderbird, so I gave up on it and learned to do the pendulum manipulation.
And we've got RCS fighting Dark Link.
What game is Deep Chick playing?
That looks like Final Fantasy VI or 3 US.
Yeah, I don't know much about Final Fantasy. So, GG to Rosie the Same, who finished in 4th place with a time of 1 hour, 29 minutes, and 54 seconds.
We'll see if we can get him in here for some quick commentary. Trail's currently in the Joshy D of BGT rooms, I believe.
Oh, that's the one.
And we will have RCS here momentarily. Schmidt debating whether to up A there and decides to go ahead. I do think, unfortunately, it would have been a little bit quicker if he had backtracked at that point. But, well, it's been done.
Yeah, that is one ability I have to improve on, is knowing when up and aim is faster than backtracking. I tend to forget what I've explored, so yeah, I always tend to make the wrong decision about it. In this case, I think you're right. I think to get to the point where he was, he has to cover a lot of walking. So yeah. So RCS is in the house.
Yeah. Hey Victor, how you doing?
Hey, everything's going fine. So, what do you think about this seed?
Nothing too nasty about this seed, except my biggest regret is sort of how I dealt with the Western overworld, like toward the beginning of the game. I sort of lost track of the fact that I saw a boulder-blocked cave right away, and I spent a few minutes looking around for a cave that I didn't need to be looking for. It was the boulder-blocked one right near start. So that probably cost me a few minutes. Like, during that time stretch where I was grabbing down stab, I, instead of making a beeline back for P1 in the raft spot, I just sort of wasted some time, meandering around looking for a cave that I didn't need to. So that's what this seed boiled down to for me. But, I'm glad I decided to go into Death Mountain before any palaces.
Yeah, you were a little bit behind in terms of beating palaces. You got the glove like 20 seconds after Dick Check, so you were head to head in that sense, but he had already beaten 3 palaces when you did. So yeah, I think it was more like a rough start for you, and well, this seed didn't favor too much exploring the overworld. Well, the items were in the overworld, but yeah,
I explored the overworld in the wrong way anyway. I mean, one of my biggest regrets is I came across the hammer. Was the last thing that I found in the east. Whereas if you had just walked right, when you first arrived, the desert tile was right there. So I circled everything and circled back around before I found the hammer. So that was sort of a problem too. And I took a very bad 50-50 in Palace 5 that forced me to explore 3 dead ends that I wouldn't have otherwise needed to. Whereas if I just I had a 50-50 chance of going the other way, and it would have brought me right to the boss. So that was a stinker as well. But that's just how it goes.
Yeah, from the players we're seeing, you were the first one that got the flute, and because everybody was busy with Palace 5. Palace 5 was horrible this time. What do you think was the thing about Palace 5 this time?
Well, this is one of those Palace 5s that forces you to go left over and over again. A couple of palaces can do that, but Palace 5 is the most notorious for that. So that's an uncomfortable feeling. And, when you're just trying to go right for the boss, and then you're presented with 3 different lefts as your options, that you're not set up to go fast.
Yeah, I think just about everyone on stream did pretty much full clear 5, so you weren't alone there.
Yeah, I figured that. I figured I didn't lose time there exactly. I could have gained myself a couple of minutes. Not enough to make a huge difference in this race. It was the Western overworld that did me in. If I had just simply been a little more focused during that first 2 minutes of the race, I would have remembered that there was a boulder-blocked cave to go with the other boulder-blocked cave that was next to the raft spot, and I could have saved myself 2 or 3 minutes of exploration. So that one is on me.
Yeah, I agree that was a factor, because I can't see anything else.
But yeah, all the spells that you needed came to you right away, and I didn't think that anything was too, necessarily tucked away or trolly or anything like that. I'm not exactly sure how many ways there were into the Hammer Cave. I didn't go there until after I had boots, but it looked like there were several, so I don't think that was going to present a big stumbling block to anybody, really.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, pretty much everyone had the exact same issues as everyone else. Just all that mattered was the order you did things in, and Dig Shake just happened to luck out in specifically Palace 4. He was mentioning in the cost of ferry basically led him the right way.
Yeah, the cost of ferry was outrageous, and I was kind of glad to see the clue about the magic key being in the west, because that told me it was in one of the 2 boulder block caves. And at that time, I'd only done 1 palace, so going back for that key was a no-brainer. And then there was that debate about, do I go in a Death Mountain or would I rather tackle P4? And with with the boots, hammer, and candle, that made me want to do Death Mountain.
Yeah, the first one that got the glove was Trails. He did it pretty early, however, he got a very slow Palace 5. And, well, now JJ Schmidt and him are in Great Palace. Let's see who finishes first.
So if he got the early glove, I'm just curious, what else presented a stumbling block to him then from that point forward?
Well, the flute. One of the last places he looked for he found the desert child very, very lately. And I think he explored the palaces first before going for the flute, so that cost him a lot. And however, JJ Schmidt started Great Palace like 10 minutes ago, maybe. And he's still in it, so he's having a hard time on that Great Palace. How did you find this Great Palace, Mr. RCS?
This was about average. I toward the end, you probably saw me. I had an option to take a drop or to go through a fun room, which I did, but then I immediately recognized this is a fun room that I noped out on earlier, so I knew to just double back 2 rooms, take the drop, and it was straight into Dark Link. So as long as you recognize that loop, you were going to be fine. And in fact, I'm willing to bet a lot of people wouldn't even take that option. They would probably just see the drop at that point in time and feel free to take it. I didn't want to do that, but hindsight is 20/20. So aside from that, it was okay. I don't like early Thunderbirds like that unless I'm really under-equipped. If I feel like dying to T-Bird is a real thing, then yeah, let me fight him in the first room. But if that's not a factor, I'd rather he be somewhere 50 to 75% of the way through.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but a couple quick updates. We've got Link Sevens in 5th place with a time of 1 hour, 38 minutes, 51 seconds. Ryan 7, 1 hour, 40 minutes, 28 seconds. And Trails finishing up Dark Link right now.
GG to all those guys.
Trails entered Great Palace way later than JJ Schmidt, so yeah, Great Palace proving to be a bit of an equalizer here in the normal seats too. It tends to be in the max rando, but here it can also happen.
Yeah, just in this seed, just for me personally, rather than having one major factor completely, determine this race, there were about 4 small factors that all contributed to where I finished, or at least, where I lost time, you could say. The biggest problem, I guess you could say, probably the hammer hiding in plain view. I mean, it was right there in the wide open, but sort of tucked away in a little corner where, unless you walked straight there, you weren't going to stumble around into it.
Yeah, now JJ Schmidt fighting Dark Link. And wrapping up these 4 players.
And again, I really love that sprite and color combination. So all I can think of is Flesh Knight for all your intimate needs.
And I love how in the ending scene he turns into a weird colored Link. In this case it's a tan Link, and in the scene that he's with Zelda, he kind of has the helmet on but has it a bit raised so we can see his face, and it looks kind of weird but fun at the same time.
No one mentioned yet about there was a pass-through cave that you needed very, very early. That was really terrible. I had a red Dyra when you were low level. That was a problem too.
Yeah, I think Dick Shake was the first one that got to explore the rest of the West. So yeah,
that doesn't surprise me. I took a couple levels first before I tackled him again. You just have to use the hit and hope strategy, try to pin him against that stump and get him stun locked.
Yeah, the other thing was in Palace 1, the crumbling bridge with the hammer bro. The way you and Dick Shake dealt with it without using any spell, well, that was cool.
Yeah, I wanted to use Thunder, but I hesitated. If you just use a little stutter step right as you approach him, that'll usually be all you need to do.
That was cool. Well, Dick Shake pulled it off a little bit cleaner, but you also pulled it off on first try. So yeah,
I got through him on the first try, but then he killed me upon arriving on the other side once I'd already cleared the bridge. But yeah, so you got to see me do it twice.
Yeah. So well, all 4 players have finished. So congratulations to all the players. The players we're seeing in the stream. I don't know if anyone is racing it at this moment. Let's see.
Yeah, I do believe we have one racer off stream, Amazing Toaster, and that'll wrap this up. But we're going to get Trails in here real quick.
All right, with that, I'll duck out. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. Good talking to you.
Good night, Rosie Desain, and thank you for talking to us and enlightening us with your knowledge.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. Always a pleasure, guys. Take care.
So is Trails in the house?
What's up, man?
How's it going, buddy?
What's going on? Thanks, man.
Well, of the 4 players we had, you were the first one to find the glove, and you had, well, the other players found it like at least 15 minutes after you did. So, what do you think is slowed you after finding the glove?
It was a desert tile, man. I was looking everywhere for that hammer that led to the flute, and everywhere, and I 100% of the eastern continent. And if I would have found the hammer much sooner, I would have. I don't know. When I was full dig shake, I was really just going through those palaces pretty quickly, but and no hammer and no flute kind of tripped me up because I had to search all the palaces. I searched out all of Palace 5, Palace 6. I spent a lot of time looking for something, and it was the last place I checked.
Yeah, that was pretty similar story across the board. Only difference is 6 seemed to be pretty quick if you went the right way, and you just happened to take a misturn at some point.
No, 6 I went all the right ways. I found the item immediately and then found the boss right after. It was 5. I went all over the place in 5, and then I think it was like a pea bag or a heart container. And yeah, I spent a lot of time in Palace 5, and I couldn't find that desert tile.
Yeah, everyone seemed to struggle with the desert tile, and I think everyone full cleared 5.
Yeah, 5 was a nightmare. But besides that, it was a fun seed. It was pretty straightforward. I went into Death Mountain early because I thought that's where the boots were going to be, but I was surprised with the glove, and I don't know.
Yeah, everyone got the boots early, and you did the glove early, so yeah, that was the choice.
Yeah, I did Palace 1, and then I said, well, I'm going to go in Death Mountain in case I'm glove blocked out of 2, and I happened to cross the glove, and I don't know, that's when I went to Palace 2 doing boots.
Yeah, the other thing to note is that, yeah, you entered Great Palace way later than JJ Smith, but as he's saying in the chat, he chose to do the left before taking the drop that led you to Darkling. So yeah, that was his doom, and that's why you finished before him. So what do you think about that Great Palace?
I thought it was pretty simple. I don't know, I tend to make lefts usually instead of going. I poked upstairs and I saw a fun room going to the left, so I decided to go back down and continue on the left. And I don't know. I was whenever I take the first open path, I always end up falling down that rabbit hole. So I usually try to push left, and it ended up working out. And then when I saw that drop, I was like, 2 of the other drops already. I had walked through one of the drop rooms, so I figured the worst case scenario, it could drop me in one of those, or it could drop me in that big drop room that I walked through, and I would only be a couple rooms back.
Yeah, Rosie told us that he believes that fun room that you enter from the right, it was a loop.
It was a dead end. When you went right, you in there. I'm talking about when you're pushing left and you see all those elevators going up. I continued left until the waffle room. If you went upstairs, there was a fun room, and if you pushed left, there was a waffle room. Drop. But there was an elevator going up just before that drop. Maybe JJ took that elevator up.
Yeah, that could be the thing. So, well, I think we can wrap this up at this moment. All 4 players finished, and well, you did a great job with this, Sid.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My only beef with it was finding the hammer, and my early game was a little trash because there was that red diamond cave you had to get through to get to the bottom half of the Western continent, and that red diamond in the dark with low levels is very difficult. And I don't know if anyone else had issues with that diamond, but I definitely did.
I think more than anything else, that was the deciding factor, because Dick Shake explored the rest of the West very early while you were still struggling with that factor. So yeah, I think that played a huge role in this Sid, that cave.
Yeah, it's all good, man. But thank you for the interview, man. You guys have a good night. Thank you, Speed Gaming, for streaming us, and thank you guys for the commentary and the tracking and everything. Man, you guys are doing a big help. Thank you so much.
And thank you for racing, and have a good night. And just a reminder, be sure you follow all our racers, follow Victor and I, and everyone involved.
Yeah, I want to thank Millie Wizard for doing the tracking. It is very useful, especially today that we have some technical problems, so we could be up to the news of this Sid. So thank you to him, and thank you to Speed Gaming for the restream. And well, we'll see you next week with the weekly races and the Max Rando tournament.
All right, you guys have a good night.
That wraps us up.